By chance today, lifting my wings from my study, I went out to greet wildness at Sag Swamp, a 100-acre preserve nestled in Sagaponack, not far from my home. Alone at the preserve, wading through wet loam, I acknowledged the accuracy of the place name. Before I reached the boardwalk, a construction that hugs the reeds, rushes, and tangled vegetation, and that leads the walker over swamp and wetlands, brilliant idea, I heard the slightly plaintive call of an unknown bird in a thicket of pepperidge and red maple. As I rounded the boardwalk trail and returned to the rich, damp earth, I heard a beat of wings and then saw the feather tips of a sizable bird as it rose up from the swamp. With a graceful, dancing descent, this great blue heron, with a wingspan of almost 6 feet, found a perch on a limb of red maple. A good choice for the heron, who now had a wide view of Solomon's Creek and the wetlands to the north. Within the wood, we were held in shadow, but the late light bathed the high branches of maple and tangled lichen clinging to the bark, singing with gold. I stopped on the short wooden bridge over the weir to watch the bird, aware of me, but unmoving, and to hear the gentle woodland echo of the creek flowing over the weir toward Sag Pond. The heron's cry, the aroma of silt, and the silver sound of Solomon's Creek whispered spring. Sag Swamp lies at the southern end of a series of vernal pools, kettle-hole ponds, streams, and marsh known as the Long Pond Greenbelt. This rare and diverse ecological zone spans 6 miles from Sag Harbor to the shores of the Atlantic and consists of 800 preserved acres of field and woodland and 360 acres of plain ponds and pools of water, a gift of the Wisconsin Glacier advancing and retreating over this landscape 21,000 years ago. The Greenbelt may contain more rare species than any other site in New York State and is thought to be the most diverse ecosystem in Southampton town. The trail through the Greenbelt follows the trace of an abandoned railway spur that once led from Bridgehampton Village to Long Wharf in Sag Harbor. Now the path is filled in with scrub oaks and low shrubs, while the wetter ground supports high bush blueberry, inkberry, sweet pepperbush, and staggerbush. Along the trail, on higher ground, are stands of pitch pine, white oak, red oak, hickory, and mountain laurel. Numerous rare plant species have adapted to survive on the edges of several ponds that expand and contract depending on rainfall and snowfall. Over a long period of years, in a descending blanket of leaves, limbs, and carbon, through a process known as ecological succession, this zone of ponds will evolve to become a wooded swamp. Sag Swamp can claim that title now, as it drains to the south and toward the Atlantic. It empties into a body of water known as Sag Pond. But let's travel north now, still under the influence of the Atlantic, to the heart of the Long Pond Greenbelt, where we encounter a diversity of avian species: American woodcock, willow flycatcher, orchard oriole, osprey, the great horned owl, and recently a scarlet tanager. A series of ponds are the heart of this ecological zone, 13 coastal plain ponds poetically named a string of pearls. The shores of the plain ponds are home to many species of rushes and sedges, blue flag iris, pink lady slipper, dragonflies, and damselflies. When the Laurentide ice sheet withdrew, great globes of ice pressed and melted into the earth. The cavern that remains is aptly called a kettle hole. This landscape is also rich with mosses, lichen, a variety of ferns, and an underground mycorrhizal social network that pulses through this rare habitat. Disturb this network, and the ecological web is fractured. Such magnificent diversity has been protected by the dedicated conservation efforts of Southampton Town, Suffolk County, the Nature Conservancy, and by the inspired and tireless attention of neighbors of the Greenbelt and volunteer citizens for over 5 decades. Over 140 separate land parcels now preserved as a contiguous ecological zone, an act of reciprocity, a task to celebrate, a challenge for those who come after. And within those acres, within thickets of dogwood, black tupelo, red maple, and coastal plain ponds, wildness survives. And because of that, and with graceful dancing descent, a blue heron seasonally continues to step through grains of a great web. Copyright Scott Chaskey, Sag Harbor, New York, 2025.